Hey, what's up everyone? We are a few days away from the release of the sequel to the Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover comic. Today I want to go ahead and break down everything we know going in. There's been a 5-page preview that was released. We'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at the synopsis for the first issue, just to give some context of what's going on, and we'll take a look at some of the covers that appear to reveal some things that are going to be going on in this crossover. You're not going to want to miss it. There's definitely stuff in here that everyone's going to be talking about. So let's waste no time and go ahead and dive into everything we know about the Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover sequel. So first, let's just give a spoiler warning. We're going to be talking about some things that may be a bit spoilerish, and I just wanted to give that warning before going in. So here we go. Okay, so this is a direct sequel to the first crossover miniseries that came out in 2019. The first issue will be dropping December 28th. It's being written by Ryan Parrott, and the art will be done by Dan Mora. The synopsis for this first issue reveals the following. It's been 6 months since the teenagers with attitude and heroes in a half shell teamed up to defeat the unholy alliance of Rita Repulsa and the Shredder. But a new threat will force them to reunite in the crossover you demanded. Between an invasion from beyond, old enemies teaming up with unlikely accomplices, and a threat to the Rangers' powers themselves, will the two teams survive the onslaught, or will they need help from the most unexpected ally imaginable? And that's the end of the synopsis. Okay, now a 5-page preview for issue 1 was recently released, showing some reveals that we didn't know about before. The preview starts off with Casey Jones tracking down Karai. Not sure why he's doing this alone. She even mentioned something about it, saying she doesn't know if she should be flattered or insulted. The two begin to fight, and at one point, we see what Casey is there for. He seems to be looking for the Shredder. He says everyone's acting like it's summer vacation, but that he knows something bad is coming. I'm not sure if this is just like an inclination that he has, or maybe he's been seeing signs of something. We'll have to wait to see in the book. Anyways, he asks Karai where Shredder is. Apparently, Shredder has been missing the whole 6 months since the last crossover happened. He tells her that he knows that she's probably spent every day trying to track down the Shredder, and that she must know something. Karai acts coy with him as they continue to fight, saying things like, "Why, do you miss him?" Eventually, Casey wins the fight and pins her down, and she says, "You saw it yourself. He was taken by the Space Witch," talking about Rita Repulsa. Then she says, "If you want to know any more than that, I'd suggest looking over your shoulder." Casey thinks it's a trick and tells her he's not going to fall for it, but as we, the reader, can see, there's some type of portal opening up behind him. Something hits Casey in the back of the head, and Casey falls to the ground. He starts to get up to see what hit him, and says, "Oh great." Karai has a smile on her face and tells Casey, "It might be time to inform your friends," talking about the Turtles and the Rangers, that summer vacation is over. And she turns around to greet the person in the portal, but we don't see who it is, and it cuts over to Angel Grove. Here in Angel Grove, we see some new reveals. It starts off with one of the Power Rangers, Zach, ordering drinks at the juice bar. When he's done ordering, the guy taking the orders, I believe his name is Ernie, it's this guy from the show, says, "And for your friends." This is when we see Zach turn around and say, "Donnie, Mikey," and we see that Donatello and Michelangelo have become human somehow. Donnie and Mikey begin to order when all of a sudden Donatello's hand starts phasing in and out from human form to turtle form. Donatello looks down and seems worried, although Billy, the Blue Ranger, comes in and swoops in and takes Donatello away. So yeah, it seems like they're using some kind of technology that turns the turtles into humans temporarily. That way they can blend in with all the people. It'll be cool to see how they're doing this. Now on the final page of the preview, it cuts over to a table where the other Rangers, Kimberly and Trini, are sitting with April. They're talking about Rita potentially returning, and this is when Bulk and Skull come over and introduce themselves to April. It seems like they know she's a news reporter, and they're trying to impress her by saying that they're friends with the Power Rangers and that they could get April an interview with them for a small fee. But yeah, this is when the preview ends. But pretty cool. I like how we're getting more of the Turtles and Rangers hanging out like this in this sequel, although we got no Raphael and Leonardo or Jason and Tommy. They're probably training with each other or something, which if they are, that'd be pretty cool to see. Now this crossover is gonna have 30+ variant covers, which is kind of a lot. The first crossover did well, so I think they're expecting the same out of this one, given all the variant covers. Now sometimes things in these variant covers are just fun things that the artist will put in, but other times it's actually stuff that will end up happening in the story. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these, but let's take it all with a grain of salt. Alright, so this first cover has the Turtles and the Rangers standing in front of the Technodrome with Shredder and Rita Repulsa up front. Now we don't know for sure, but I believe this crossover sequel will have Krang in it, and I believe this is just one of the hints of that happening. I believe we'll see the Technodrome as well. Now, not much else on this one, but yeah, I feel like we're definitely getting that in my opinion. Let's move on over to the next cover. Alright, this next cover shows the Rangers Megazord fighting a giant Bebop and Rocksteady. I could also see this happening, as Rita has the ability to make her creatures grow, and I would imagine she would do something like this with Bebop and Rocksteady. Alright, now this next cover makes total sense. It totally makes sense that they would do something like this. It shows Krang, who we all know is a talking brain-like alien, inside of the head of the Power Rangers villain Lord Zed, who normally has an exposed brain on the top of his head. Now, even if Krang doesn't specifically crawl inside of Lord Zed's head in this crossover, I definitely think that the two villains will be introduced into the crossover, as they were not in the first one. Okay, now there's one more character that they keep showing, not just in the cover for issue 1, but also in other covers for some of the following issues, and that's this character. It appears to be a mysterious new Ranger, but upon further inspection, the bottom of his face mask looks an awful lot like Casey Jones's hockey mask. This becomes more clear as we see him in additional images of future issue covers. He appears to be wielding some type of Ranger-fied hockey stick weapon. One question that comes to mind though is, how would Casey get these Power Ranger powers? Well, in the preview we just spoke of earlier, we see he was taken down by Karai and most likely the Shredder or some other villain. And I would imagine with the help of Rita or maybe Lord Zed, or even Krang for that matter, there's a possibility they could have turned Casey into an evil Ranger. If we look closely at the covers with this mysterious Ranger on them, it almost looks like he's fighting the good guys. Here he looks like he's breaking the Megazord by jumping out of its chest. And here we see shards around the mysterious Ranger that shows reflections of what look like a worried Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. But we don't know for sure. We're gonna have to wait for it to come out. But that's not long from now, so we'll talk about it when it does. One final potential spoiler for this crossover sequel comes over from the cover of issue 4, which was recently revealed online. And this one is pretty cool. This is probably the biggest spoiler that has come out in regards to this Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover sequel. Now, first down at the bottom here on the cover, everything looks pretty normal. We see the Ninja Turtles who have morphed into Power Rangers, which is something that we saw in the first crossover. Pretty cool to see them like this again in the sequel here. Now, in the first crossover that came out back in 2019, when the Turtles morphed into Power Rangers, the regular Rangers ended up wearing these type of outfits where they look like ninjas sort of. Now, that doesn't look like is going to be the case in this miniseries. As we go further up in the cover here, we can see that this time around, it looks like the Power Rangers are going to get mutated, and it looks like each Ranger is going to get mutated into their Zord animal. So you can see that the Red Ranger here has a T-Rex head, the Green Ranger has a dragon head, the Pink Ranger is a pterodactyl, the Blue Ranger has a Triceratops head, the Black Ranger is a mastodon, and the Yellow Ranger is a saber-toothed tiger. This is really awesome. I'm really liking the way the Green and the Red Ranger look here. Man, I really hope they do animated movies of these crossovers with the Turtles and Rangers that they've been doing in the comic books. That would be so awesome to see all this play out in a movie. That'd be so cool. I'm particularly liking the way the Green Ranger and the Red Ranger look here. But yeah, there you go. Make sure to pick up this crossover. It appears we'll be getting one issue, which will be dropping every month starting December 28th. So this week, we will be doing breakdowns of each issue. So yeah, pick up that comic so you can follow along. But that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Let me know down below. What do you think about some of this stuff we just discussed? Is Casey the Mystery Ranger? Are we gonna get a Lord Zed and Krang mashup? What do you think about the mutated Power Rangers? Let me know down below. Remember to follow on all the socials. Links are down below in the description. But that's it for this one, guys. I will see you in a little bit with another video. Take care.